So today we have yet another one of my picks, and it's gonna be one of my favorite bows of all time. The Proboscis Cernos. This one is a bit of a ball ache to get because it requires the Mutalis Cernos, which requires the regular Cernos. So you need to get the Cernos, turn that into the Mutalis, and then turn that into the Proboscis. But in return, you get one of the most unique bows in the game. It requires Mastery Rank 15, the arrows do primarily slash damage with a decent amount of impact and a little bit of puncture as well, with a 7% crit chance, 1.9 times crit multiplier, and a 43% status chance. However, that's not the important part. The important bit is the radial attack, which causes a massive 7-meter explosion that does pure viral damage after 1.7 seconds. Now, you might think that having a 1.7 second delay on an explosion is bad, but it's actually not here, because in those 1.7 seconds, the arrow will shoot out a bunch of tentacles that will drag enemies into the explosion. It's kind of similar to Nidus's larva. So let's give it a shot, shall we? This could be tremendous. I love this bow, and I'm very curious to see what it can do with all the new stuff that we have nowadays. I think Merciless is a no-brainer here because it's an easy way to stack damage, and the reload speed on bows is actually very good because it affects the speed at which you draw arrows from your quiver. Galvanized Timber for the multi-shot. And I don't think we're gonna go with Galvanized Aptitude because of the explosion. I think we're gonna go with the regular Aptitude instead. I checked the wiki and it doesn't say anything about Galvanized Aptitude, so regular Aptitude it is. Primed Firestorm. Yes. Big boom. I definitely want to try Blast with Primed Cryo Rounds for just a lot of damage. Is this way we get like Blast and Vital, which is a really nice combo. I'm gonna try Corrosive as well, but we're gonna have to use a 90... That's not the right mod. 90% Elemental for now. Because that way, we get Blast, Vital, and Corrosive on the explosion, which is a cool combo. Usually I like my bows with a lot of fire rate, but I'm not actually sure if we're gonna need it or not. Let's be reasonable here. Oof, that was a... Wowee. Yeah. Okay. That was, like, about thrice as much damage as I had expected from this. I'll take it. We need to add some Forma. A D makes the most sense for primed cryo rounds. There we go. Let's also move this over here. There we go. That looks much nicer. Yeah, we definitely need mutation. We have, like, 7 arrows. And that's it. So, yeah, mutation is a must. The clear is absolutely tremendous. Look at this. Boom. That's awesome. The single target is mediocre at best, but that's to be expected. Like, you don't run the Proboscis Cernos to do mad single target. I do believe we can drop the fire rate though, because this isn't a bow that you fire constantly. You fire it out, you let it explode, and then you find a nice group of enemies to fire it into again. You don't fire it over and over and over again. Yeah, the single target is, bit sad. It is very meh at best. Yeah, we, like, really don't need this. This is just not necessary at all. Now, we could just run Vigilante Armaments instead. That would be the easiest thing to do, based on this Forma setup. However, Elementalist could be tremendous, especially if we take out Infected Clip and we go with Blast and Electricity. Let's do that, actually. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, then we need to reformat this and swap Acceleration for Elementalist. I do not mind losing the fire rate at all. It is absolutely a-okay. There we go. Okay, we're gonna swap the dash into a D. Elementalist. Let's hope the punch through doesn't break this. Also, since we do have Vital on the bow itself, I think it makes sense to switch Herald to Corrosive Heat and Radiation. Ooh, that is some saucy damage. Yeah, the way it drags everything into the Blast and Electricity, that is well good. Dude, what? What? That's max level. 190 in Simulacrum, max level in the Simulacrum. I am curious about gas though. That's not how you get gas. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's awesome as well. Yeah. So if you want to, you can do gas instead of blast. I want to see what this does to the corpus. Come on, show me something fun. Oh. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. So yeah, gas is totally viable as well. I do like blast more though, so let's put primed cryo rounds back in. This is one of the very few explosive weapons where the ammo nerf didn't really do much because of the way it works. This is one of the things I was worried about, right? Running out of ammo because you only have 7 arrows to begin with. But as you can quite clearly see, there's ammo everywhere, so... yeah, good stuff. Come on, come on. Boosh, my god, dude, that's so satisfying.
See, weapons can be fun and functional at the same time, yeah.
The single target seems to have gone up quite a bit, thanks to Elementalist and all that. You can see that it's actually chunking the Acolyte pretty hard. Mania is not having a tremendous day here. It's still not amazing, the single target could be a lot better, but it's acceptable. Like, I don't mind killing an Acolyte with this. I think we have a winner here. I can't think of anything else I would want to change here. The build feels absolutely tremendous and the damage is much higher than I thought it was going to be. Like, I knew it was going to work in Steel Path, but I didn't expect it to work this well. So, here's the final build for the Proboscis Cernos, and it's quite fun indeed. We have Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Brand Firestorm for bigger AoE, Rifle Aptitude for status chance, Rifle Elementalist for status damage, and then we have Stormbringer and High Voltage for a ton of electricity and a bit of extra status, as well as Primed Cryo rounds and Thermite rounds for blast and a bit of extra status once again. Now, even though the weapon doesn't really struggle with ammo sustain, I would still recommend running Arrow Mutation just in case. And for the Arcane, Primary Merciless is really good here. It's a lot of base damage that's easy to stack, and the reload speed is actually quite nice even on a bow because it affects the speed at which you draw arrows from your quiver. One thing I will say here though is that Blast, Electricity and Vital Damage are not necessarily the best to run against heavily armored units, so a pet that can strip armor for you or a Warframe that can strip armor for you is definitely recommended. I used my Priming Hound, Harold, and I switched his Betoten to Corrosive, Heat, and Radiation. But it's not entirely necessary, like if you're running a frame that can strip armor, like in Arrows for example, you can just toss out Scarab Swarm and you're good to go. So overall, great success, I had a lot of fun with this, and the build performs really well. The Proboscis Cernos has always been really good because it did decent damage and it easily allowed you to group up enemies without using something like Nidus with Larva. The only downside with it is that it is, as I mentioned in the beginning, a bit of a ball ache to get because you essentially need to build 3 different weapons. Other than that, it's really good and I would highly recommend it. Now, you don't necessarily need to go with as expensive of a setup as I did. You can just try something cheaper, and if you end up liking it, you can eventually progress into a bigger build that will require a little bit more Forma and some fancier mods. Because even a relatively basic build on the Proboscis Cernos is going to be just fine and you can do Steel Path with it. So yeah, definitely give this one a shot. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.